Started. Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Lamb, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 26 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one advising services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, From Phishing to AI Scams, Cyber Risk Small Businesses Face in 2026, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Save the date for our next cybersecurity webinar taking place on April 22nd, Protecting Customer Information in a Digital Business. I'll drop the registration link into the chat momentarily. We are recording today's presentation and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the expected large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted and the chat feature is turned off. But if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box and we'll adjust them at the end of the session. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your own meeting controls. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenters for today's session, Kiana Gainey and Lori Zioli. Kiana is a 20-plus year IT and cybersecurity industry veteran and has served as Chief Executive Officer for SecureTech 360, located in Springfield, Virginia, since its inception in 2010. She is also the Cyber Industry Specialist for the Virginia SBDC. Joining Kiana today is Lori Zioli, CEO and founder of Explorize AI, an artificial intelligence consulting agency that primarily services small businesses and solopreneurs. She has spent over 25 years helping businesses use technology and strategy to grow. With an MBA and certifications in AI consulting, data, and change management, Lori specializes in making AI practical, people-friendly, and results-driven for small businesses. Welcome, Kiana and Lori. We're going to mix
Thank you
things
so
up a
much.
little bit. I don't think Kiana is on here yet with us, so we're going to skip ahead a little and let Lori jump into her AI portion. So just bear with me one moment. We said 11, I
Yep,
think.
one more
There,
before that.
we good?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Lori. I'm going to hop off. Just let me know when to advance.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate the time that you have made. Great investment to learn about what is going on. And my part of this webinar is on the advantages and educational piece on the AI part, because that is what is hot, since 2024 and is just evolving. So let's get started. And it is. The tipping point is here. It is going to be here. And this is what's happening right now in 2026. As of 2026, 68% of small businesses are now using AI regularly. So about 2024, that was about 25%. And in 2025, again, this statistics is up from 48% just about 18 months ago. So as you can see, that trend is just going up in a rising percentage. And there's a reason why. And we'll go through that in a few moments. 84% increase efficiency and productivity, and we'll go through what the tools are that small businesses are using to have this increased efficiency and what that 84% is alluding to. And so what is that? There's no more cost cutting, and folks are seeing a little bit more of the advantages of streamlining their processes. And so, oh, I just saw Gianna come in. So hello. We wanted to ask if you wanted to go back and go through the full process with the right order. Let us know, Gianna.
No, I'll let you continue and I'll jump in at the end. Thank you
Okay.
guys. All right.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then and again, here's another statistics, one from Salesforce. 83% of growing small businesses, small, medium businesses have adopted AI versus 55% of declining ones. And so that is not an accident. We see based on our data research that that gap is going to continue to grow. Last but not least, 94% of small business owners project growth in 2026. And what we're seeing now is that AI is no longer just a technology or a tool or a software, but it is a process. It is a mindset that is becoming integrated with the businesses or the core processes. And so the real risk that we see is not necessarily AI. It is essentially you watching your competitors adopt it, learn it, be educated about it, and get good at it. All right, so that is what I have in terms of the AI. Let's go to the next slide, please. So, how is AI helping small businesses? Let's take a look at how AI is in 2026. As I mentioned, 83% of growing small businesses have adopted AI. And how is this, where's that 83% coming from? They are using AI now for lead qualification. So in 2025, we've seen that AI is being used mostly for research, more of helping with SOPs or the documentation. It is growing so fast. It is moving so fast, the technology, that what we've seen now is not just lead qualification, client follow-up using CRMs, automation, but it is more on also creating websites. It is creating websites, creating apps. So these are just some of the ways that AI is being used by small businesses. Second point, real savings coming from automating the right task. Tools such as QuickBooks that you see in there, chatbots, and also email automation tools are already handling the invoicing, the scheduling, client FAQs, the CRM input. And so these are the repetitive tasks that the AI tools are so good at and are used. And so that is where you would find small businesses are finding the fastest cost savings and through the customer chatbots, bookkeeping automations, and marketing automations through the tools that I just mentioned. All right, next slide, please. I don't think we have Kiana. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I just need the next slide, please. All right, perfect. There may be one before that. Let me just double check, please. Okay, there we go. So what we have found is, the question, is AI going to take my job? No, it isn't. In fact, what we're seeing now is we're seeing AI as a co-pilot, as your AI assistant, as your virtual assistant. So where this comes in is in terms of, how is it becoming more powerful and becoming a co-pilot or an assistant to small businesses? A lot of times we're seeing that small businesses are using AI tools to handle the transcript. No more documentation, meeting transcription, note taking, drafting the responses. But I want to pause a little bit and mention the tool human in the loop. That's an important notion because at the end of all these automations, it is still important to have that human in the loop so that there is somebody who is reviewing the work of the AI, who is approving the email that will go out, that email that has been created by the AI before it goes out to your customers, to your clients. But in terms of how it's being used, employees save an average of 5.6 hours a week using AI tools. The last thing is smarter decisions. It's making it faster. 87% of small businesses use AI to help them scale their operations. How? By using it in their CRMs, their accounting softwares, their email platforms. So it is what data analyst would typically be doing, but now it is empowering the work of that data analyst by helping these processes, the analysis go by a little bit faster. So next slide, please. Okay. Now, again, AI is powerful. It is manageable when it is adopted the right way. So let's take a look at the risk and the fixes. You may have heard the term shadow AI. Shadow AI is when you have your staff use unauthorized tools with no oversight. So a quick fix for that is set a clear AI usage policy, whether it is in your SOPs, whether it is in your training for your staff, but have it so that it is a part of your daily routine. And so that is one way that we can prevent shadow AI for your businesses. The other risk is credential theft. Again, ChatGPT logins found in the dark web, 300,000 of this. So what can you do as a fix? Education, training your internal team of what to enter. What is the governance? What is allowed? What is it that you can add to your knowledge base? And what is it that you may want to pause and think about before you put it into your knowledge base for your LLMs? ChatGPT being just one of them. Deepfake scams, 85% of firms hit by deepfake incident last year. How can you fix that? Well, one of the recommendations that we tell our clients is to establish internal protocols for financial requests. Have the two-factor multi-factor authentication. Have some type of protocols for sensitive communications. Risk, faster attacks, 44% surge in breaches. What can you do? This is what we talk about, human in the loop oversight. That is your best, and it will always be your best line of defense. So the bottom line, and these are just some of the risks that we see and some of the fixes that we recommend. The bottom line is that avoiding AI, it's not going to eliminate the risk, but it's having a plan and having a plan to adopt it. And so that is what adoption strategy is. And that is what a people first AI adoption strategy is that we recommend to all of our clients. Next slide, please. All right. So these are some of the tips that I provided for safer AI workflows and some team guidelines. Again, in your SOPs, identify what are the company approved AI tools that your workforce can use. This is the fastest way to stop shadow AI. Understand what is the approved platform. If it's your LLM, are you going to use ChatGPT? Are you going to use Claude? Are you going to use Perplexity? Why? And one item, golden nugget that I can add is if you are going to use an LLM, use one, train it as much as you can, and that way you can put the guardrails on that LLM instead of having to put your energy into two or more LLMs that you would have to train all three equally. Number two, train your team on safer prompts. And that is what prompt engineering is, taking classes on prompt governance. And that way your employees are aware of what types of questions you should be asking, when to go incognito, and that's where you can ask a little bit more private questions. Where in your settings do you have so that you can turn off the training of your LLM? Where is it that you put in your guardrails? Is this something that you can put in your knowledge base? Number three, build AI into your SOPs. I think I already mentioned that over and over, but integrate that into your SOPs, into your processes, and not around them. Next slide, please. Okay, I think that is the end of my slides. I'll hand it over to Kiana.
And actually, Kiana, if you don't mind, we had one question drop in, Lori. if you want to go ahead and adjust that, it might make a little more sense if you're okay with that. And the question was, could you tell us more about what you mean by breaches and deep fake scams, please?
Sure. And again, is that your end, Kiana?
Kiana, if you want to answer that one, you can. It just came in during Lori's part of the presentation, so I thought I'd go ahead and ask it.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, everyone. And Lori, thank you for this wonderful oversight on AI. So when we're talking about, what was the question? Breaches and
Yes. Tell us more about what you mean by breaches and deep fake scams, please.
so a breach is normally a security control or some type of mechanism that was in place that somebody circumvented. So think of it like if you installed locks on your door and an intruder was trying to get in and they were able to pick the lock and they got into and they were able to gain entry. That is normally a great definition for a breach. So when you think about data, if you put some guardrails up and then someone was able to circumvent the system and cause a breach of that system, meaning that the system was compromised from where it was originally used for one purpose versus another, if that makes sense. And then what was the other question? Deep fake.
Deep fake, yes.
So deepfakes, you've seen them on online where you'll see an individual that you can physically see with your eyes. Let's say it's a popular celebrity, right? That is someone has taken their likeness and has changed maybe there originally was slated to say maybe a movie or have used it to masquerade as that individual. So you'll see a lot of those type of scams now, as you will have maybe somebody that is that you maybe are following, or maybe someone like an influencer or a celebrity type. That's usually the most common ones where they're taking their likeness and usually putting some type of audio that looks very close to their lips moving, and they're saying things that are probably not what they probably intended for the audience to know about them, or things that are based on what that attacker or someone that's trying to impersonate them want them to say at that time. And so if we can just step back, because I know we jumped right into the subject of AI and we probably didn't really start with the baseline for cyber. So I'll start with, if you just take me back to the very beginning of, is that my first slide
I think
about
that
AI?
so that was the following one after
Okay.
Lori's.
Okay.
We're
So I'll
good.
take us. Yep, that's good. Go back. Yep.
Okay.
So
Thanks, Kiana.
you're welcome. So with AI, the amazing thing about technology, it does give you a strategic advantage. It's not something that you necessarily have to use, but as the world is evolving and it can become a friend to technology and innovation, especially when you're thinking about how to save yourself time through automation. It can help with things like invoices, email. It can help you with support. It can be used as you need more information. So I'll give you an example. I have some seniors that I like to do training with as well, and one of my seniors had just got a hold of wonderful Chat GPT, and she was trying to put together greeting cards that she wanted to send out, and she was trying to find like the exact wording that she wanted to use, but it was for like 5 individuals. And so she said, well, Google doesn't give you, what to say. It'll just give you like, maybe more links to go to other sites. It doesn't give you like exactly what to say. So in that instant, we use Chat GPT, and she put in just some notes about what she wants the greeting card to say, and it spit out just some basic information that she can put in a greeting card, but then it personalized it in her voice. So it can be used for all different types of things to improve their life. It also can help with improving things like decision making, because they have a lot of built-in analytics. So if you say and we've been using it for some time, like I know I use Siri. Siri, can you find me this phone number, or can you call this person that's in my phone? And Alexa, I use Alexa in my home for all different types of things. Alexa, can you tell me the weather outside? Alexa, can you do all different types of functions? So it has not been like something that's new. It's something that's evolving, and it's some things that we can use as small business owners to help improve our processes. But again, with any type of evolution of change or evolution in technology, it does not, it's not meant to always look at it as a replacement for something. I know a lot of people, when they think about AI, they think it's going to take away jobs, but think of it as it's going to add jobs in the future. We're going to have more analysts that we'll need, or more subject matter experts that we're going to need in this career field. So it's not, it's meant to help if it's used for the right reasons. And so go to my next slide. So I wanted to make sure that we understand that, you know, it is a great thing to use. And why this matters now is because, as you're seeing, AI adoption is accelerating across small businesses. You're seeing, but you're, with any type of acceleration in innovation, you're always going to have new threats. Those threats are becoming more automated and believable. Like with the example about the deep fake, you know, you see a lot of news, a lot of different things. You see it a lot with people using it to promote different agendas, and also using it as a way to for news, what they like to call fake news. And it can be believable because sometimes the things are one or two things off, but if you look at it, you can see that it's not necessarily someone that's probably even still alive. There's all different times. You're like, wait a minute, I thought this person was no longer here. And then you see something come across your screen, and they'll have something where they're talking in real time or on the beach today. So you see all different types of things that are going around the internet. So one of the things you need to understand with AI is to make sure that you still, you know, authenticate the source of the information that you're receiving. Security must evolve alongside innovation. So as you heard Lori talk about, adopting those AI policies and making sure that even if you want to use it, you know, choosing something for your workforce, making sure that you understand all of the ins and outs and all the risk associated with that as well is very key. And developing those policies that you'll need to be able to create, you know, adopt this into your environments as well. Next slide. So again, with growth comes risk, right? The same tools that's driving efficiencies are also used by attackers. If AI lowers the barrier to launch cyber attacks, so you're seeing a lot of people use AI to either find code to launch different cyber attacks or to educate themselves more in real time about things that were probably not necessarily really available. And some, with what we're seeing in some of the data that's out now, that it usually was just only attacks against larger organizations, but small businesses are also primary targets as well, especially if you have systems that they can infiltrate and cause all types of things like breaches or things that can cause an interruption to your environment or for your customers that you support. And so you must have security built into this adoption. You must create policies. You must educate yourselves about all the different types of potential risk as you are slowly, or if you've already adopted AI. Like, take a step back and figure out all the risk associated with you using this new technology as a supportive resource or as an additional resource to your organization, or to do things just to automate efficiencies within your organization. Next slide. So one thing you can do is have a safe AI adoption strategy, and that is using only approved, choosing and doing your research on what approved AI tools you want to use for your infrastructure. There's a lot on the marketplace. I know Lori mentioned ChatGPT is one that's very popular. Claude is another that's very popular. Gemini is another that's out there. And so whatever you choose, make sure you understand and you educate yourself about what that technology is. And then also train your employees on what not to share in those when they're using those tools. Create simple AI usage policies, and the policies can be very simple. If you haven't, or if you have seen it, if you worked in any type of federal or government agencies, they always have a thing called rules of behavior. And those rules of behavior outline what type of behavior that they have allocated for that organization for you to use the items that they have deployed to you. Meaning, if they gave you a mobile device, this is how they want the mobile device to be used. If they gave you a laptop, this is how the laptop should be used. If you are logging on and using their SharePoint site, or if you see that wonderful login banner when you log into a federal site, all of those things were policies that had to be adopted and implemented as the newer technologies were introduced into the workspace. And so think of AI in that same way when you're adopting those strategies. And make sure that you, again, like Lori mentioned in her part of the briefing, is keep the humans in the loop for decisions, right? So keep human interactions even as a part is your AI strategy, right? So that you can make sure that you're safely having a strategy to help reduce some of the risk or even mitigate the risk in some cases. Next slide. So again, there are some AI-driven scams, deepfake audio, which could be either audio or video, AI-generated phishing emails. You see them as no different than phishing emails that you've seen in the past that'll come. They'll look very close to something that maybe is familiar to you. Usually, I've seen a lot with organizations. They'll come from within the organization, from maybe your CEO for you to respond in the next 30 minutes. Same type of concepts when you see emails that are coming from a source that is, requesting information, usually something they're always like, I need something in 30 minutes or 10 minutes, or please respond back right now, or click this link. When in doubt, always stop, and think before you click, before you respond. Read through the email, make sure you understand and see who the originator of the email is. And just, I'm old fashioned. I pick up the phone and I'll also say that you just send me an email, and 9 out of 10 is usually a phishing email of some sort. So still have those type of mentality when you're thinking about, as you see a lot of these AI generated phishing emails, they're very sophisticated, or they'll come from like a vendor. I had one last week from Microsoft that also sent me a meeting request that tried to put it on my calendar for me to do a function for a whole week. And so they're getting very sophisticated, but I'm like, okay, Microsoft wouldn't just send me a personal email for me to do a function, that something that I would normally do within my organization. So you have to just be very careful. Also, there's a lot of automated social engineering. I call them robocalls. Get them on they'll call you on the phone, and as soon as you answer, sometimes there's like that pause before there's someone is speaking, and then even I've had one, even a text message that said, "Hello, Kiana," and I'm like, I don't know this phone number. I'm not going to respond back, because sometimes those automated texts or emails that they're sending out, they just want a response. Again, another one is the chat bot impersonation, where you can have like a chat that'll be initiated self that wants you to do some form of interaction just to see if they have a connection on the other end. So you have to be very careful with the innovation of AI. It also brings these type of scams and risk associated with them as well. Next slide. Another modern phishing attack is those highly personalized emails that I talked about that may come from within your organization. The use of AI generated content, fake login pages, the SMS, which is smishing, or voice, which is phishing attacks. We talked about the text messages that come over, the voice messages that you'll receive. All of these are more than likely they're using some type of AI tool to be able to generate them. So making sure you educate yourself on those as well is very imperative as we are moving into what I like to call the AI age. Next slide. So again, as we highlighted today, AI is here. And one of the key things is, taking the time to educate yourself on all that is AI, but also all the risks that are associated with it as well. And one of the biggest things that you can do from a cybersecurity perspective is to be proactive. Prevention is the best remedy for any cure. So you can do things like, and I think Lori brought this up earlier, is enabling multi-factor authentication wherever it's possible and needed. If not, making sure that you have strong passwords, not making them so stringent that you lock yourself out, but making them stringent enough that they can be easily guessed. Also, one of the biggest things you can do for yourself and your organization is implementing some type of employee awareness training, making sure you do those regular software updates, making sure that you're backing up critical data, and you're also using things like endpoint protection, antivirus software. Like, I always think about it as defense in depth, right? The more that you do things in a preventive way will also help you in even in the event that something happens. But also outside of that, having policies and procedures in place, putting together a security plan is also going to be key. Putting together incident response plan on who, what, and when in the event that something does happen. If things like a breach happens, a data breach, if someone's able to circumvent your organization, what to do in the event that those things happen are very key as well. Next slide. So key takeaways, preparation is key. Um, Implementing these proactive measures, such as doing security audits on your organization. And an audit doesn't have to be, so official. It can just be just you monitoring the frequency if you're implementing new changes or anything that you're introducing to your environment, that you're regularly looking at everything from both a holistic standpoint, but also from a cyber perspective as well, making sure that your employees are also trained as new risks are introduced daily. If anytime you have a major significant change within your environment, making sure you're updating that employee training as well. And also I have a lot of customers that will put together an incident response plan, but they don't test it. So making sure you test it, either on a quarterly or yearly basis, or whenever a significant change occurs is also very key as well. Also recognizing any pressing cybersecurity threats that may have impact on your small business. So I like to do Google alerts that I'll get information in real time about threats that are very specific to my environment, so that I'm keeping abreast of what's happening in real time. And then also implementing practical steps for employee training, build it into your onboarding, build it into your even offboarding. That's another control of making sure that even when someone leaves, making sure that their devices are wiped, make sure their access is wiped, removing people from your organization that's no longer there, making yourself a checklist to make sure that you're checking these things off as you are maintaining your environment. And staying proactive is also going to be key in safeguarding your business against most of these cyber risks. It's a wonderful, wonderful. The evolution of AI is amazing, and the things and the work that you can do to help support your small business is invaluable. But making sure that you protect yourself is also just as valuable. Next slide. So, in conclusion, AI is no longer a future tool, right? It's here. It can also help you with being competitive, can help you in the competitive divide between you and another small business. But the only advantage, it only works when security comes first. The winning path is simple. Find an AI tool that's an approved AI tool that you want to use within your organization. Make sure you train and, learn habits and create habits around how to use it. Make sure that you build AI steps into your workflow, into your SOPs on how you operate your business. Treat cybersecurity as a part of your daily operations. Bridging AI and cybersecurity together only gives your small business the capability to grow and to take it to the next level. And I'll let Lori, if you wanted to also just kind of sum up your thoughts about that as well. I'll turn it back over to you for that last slide.
Yes, thank you so much, Gianna. And so I'm also seeing a lot of the questions here on the Q&A. So essentially, the main point for this from my end is every powerful tool, such as AI now, carries a risk. It is amplifying the risk, but it also is amplifying the opportunities. And so education is the best way to become involved and to just understand your role in it. As an example, a car, without, a driver that is driving or has a safe car without a driver's education will cause accidents. So that's the concept that we want you to learn from this AI and cybersecurity. Any tool that you have, it will always have a risk, and that's where cybersecurity comes in, but it also amplifies the opportunities. So it's more of a, brother and sister, type of relationship. So education, again, learning human in the loop, and having that in your processes is another key. Integrating the policies, whether it's cybersecurity or your AI policies, which is a new thing, into your businesses is another critical component. Having your workforce just be educated, not necessarily on just what is out there in AI, but am I using this tool that we are implementing? Am I using this technology tool or this AI tool that we are implementing properly, securely, and safely? So now, these are now the new types of questions that we need to, educate our workforce on. And again, that's evolving as AI is evolving itself. So thank you for that opportunity, Kiana.
You're welcome. Thank you. So Sheila, if you can go to the next slide. I think the next slide is just probably questions. So we'll open it up the floor for any additional questions.
And we have quite a few in the Q&A.
Okay.
Did you want me to read it, or do you have access to it, Kiana?
Let me see, going to the Q&A. Sheila, can you see the questions as they're coming in, or?
I think we may have lost her.
No worries. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Okay, I think we covered the one about breaches. I understand what the term generally just understand how this might show up as a small business security risk. Okay. Is your computer virus protection software sufficient to safeguard against AI attacks and malware? So the virus protection software traditionally is used to help with some known threat vectors that can possibly attack your system. Now, with the evolution of AI and they don't catch all of the potential additional signatures or vectors that are used during attacks, but it can be used as another layer to help with your defense against AI attacks, but it's not like a 100% proof like with any type of preventive tool as well. Can you provide best practices for SOPs? I hate to send this too quickly. And can you provide best practices for SOPs? So, Laura, if you can give an example on like what a great AI SOP would contain.
That's an interesting question. So in terms of SOPs, what we're seeing now is not necessarily a one-stop shop SOP. So there needs to be again, an individual SOP on what type of LLM would be most efficient for your business. There is also another SOP on the processes. So take a look at your workflows. Take a look at individual workflows. And again, this is why it's very critical to, not look at it as a one big process. But let's say you're marketing, look at your marketing department. Look at the processes or the workflows within your marketing department. Identify within those processes where the cybersecurity leaks are. Also identify where it is that perhaps you are conducting redundant activities. That's where AI would be best used for those where you're sending emails, when you are responding to customers. That's where you can use AI, and that's where you can integrate it into your SOP. It's very different with accounting. Accounting, it has a little bit more sensitivity to it. So you may not be using the same LLM as with marketing. And again, that's really how I would like to approach that question is it's not just one SOP, but I would recommend having individual SOPs for your departments so that they are customized according to their workflows and according to where the AI and also the cybersecurity plugs would be ingrained in the different areas.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome. And then also there was a follow-on question about can we share credible authors, book titles, or articles to learn more about AI? So if I was just starting out, are there any recommendations that you could think of, Lori, that you could share?
Mhm. In terms of authors, there are so many of them, book titles. I would actually say this is the best use case for AI. Look at your GPT. Either you're using Claude, ChatGPT, or Perplexity. I use all three. But ask it, this is the best time to use it and say, I am new to AI. I need help with learning the fundamentals. Can you give me a list of the five best used either websites or excuse me, books that I can read as a beginner? So train it. That's exactly what AI is used for. You're no longer having to research it yourself. Have it do the work for you and feed you information.
Great answer. And then also too, along with the when we send out the presentation with a copy of the slides, we'll put in some additional recommendations of some actual authors that are that've had some books that are on the marketplace that I know I have a few that I just can't think off the top of my head, but I'll make sure we'll add that to the email when we send out with the slides as well. What
May
have
I
you
say
read?
something?
Okay, he said yes, yes.
I would caution about books, and here's why. Things that we've learned from the AI community in 2025, even if it's just in November 2025, it's
It
no
changes.
longer applicable. It
Yeah.
changes so fast. I used to use ChatGPT. There are a lot of things that I have learned and no longer think that ChatGPT is the most effective way for my business. I moved into Claude. I started using Claude. There are many ways that I still want to push AI, and now I'm using Perplexity. And so I would say that the best way to just be aware or just to evolve with AI is to go into classes such as these, what Kiana's teaching, what we're teaching, because sometimes it's just moving so quickly. And I think discussions are probably your best bet in lieu of reading books. Be aware, but I think discussions and networking is probably the best way.
Yeah, and there are also a lot of online forums and communities that you can join just so that you can stay abreast if you're looking for community as far as navigating AI. I know
Yeah.
a few that I'll also put in the chat as well that you can join as a community, for small business owners that are also navigating AI. But to Lori's point, it's evolves daily. And
Mm,
so the best way is just keep your hand on the pulse as it evolves, especially as it relates to your particular organization or business set or customers that you're servicing and using AI for, because it will change.
yeah.
So I always like to
And
set like Google alerts for myself, just to keep myself abreast of like new articles or new periodicals that are coming out about the subject and how it relates to the customers that I serve as well. And then we had one more question here. Can you talk a little about cyber insurance, the need for it, the cost of it, and where the hygiene affects cost of it? Yes. So, very great question, Susanna. if you're a small business owner and you have the funding that you can invest in your organization, because I look at cyber insurance as an investment, you do so. And you may even have insurance now. Check with your local insurance provider to see if you have some type of cyber insurance embedded into your current policies. But if not, I would highly recommend that you get some type of cyber insurance. And it can vary depending on your organization and your organizational needs. But if you look at it just like with any type of insurance, it's a preventive tool that you can use to help support you in the event that there is a breach or there is incident that happens to your organization. And it does look at what type of policies you have in place. Like, for example, one of my main clients is healthcare. And so one of the questions for my cyber insurance was about the health HIPAA policies and how often were my people trained? Were there any training that was involved? And they wanted me to show evidence of that as well. So just keep that in mind. So some of the tips and things that we're talking about that also did impact the cost of my insurance. So think of it like, I know even your regular insurance, if you have like some type of security on the car, it also reduces. Like if you own a home, they'll actually, if you have certain things in place, like a security system or certain things in place, and that also can give you a reduced benefit as far as what costs is associated with your insurance. So keep that in mind as well. So I hope that answered all the questions there. And so we want to thank you guys again. You've been a wonderful audience. We will definitely follow up from this presentation. Sheila will send out the recording along with the PowerPoint and some additional resources for you as well. And then on the email will also be ways to contact myself and Lori. But Lori, if you just wanted to give out your contact information as well, I'll give you that opportunity before we close out. No, we can't hear you.
Thank you so much. The best way to contact me is just to go to my website. As you can see on the background, it's explorize.ai. From there, you have my contact information. And also, I do want to say that we have an AI education community in which we send out one tip, one technique every Monday. So if you would like to be part of that community and receive the newsletters, would love for you to join us, and you can email me at lorizioli@explorize.ai.
Thank you so much, Lori. And thank you guys, everyone. Have a great day. If there's no more questions, we'll see you in the next webinar. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, Lori.